Hello, everybody. Today we're going to talk about Belgium. But first, we want to give you a short introduction about the dimensions of national culture. Professor Georg Hofstede conducted one of the most comprehensive studies of how values in the workplace are influenced by culture. He defines culture as the collective programming of the mind distinguishing the members of one group or category of people from others. The six dimensions of national culture are based on extensive research done by Professor Georg Hofstede and his team. The application of this research is used worldwide in both academic and professional management settings. Dimensions of national culture. The Hofstede model of national culture consists of six dimensions. The cultural dimensions represent independent preference from one state of affairs over another that distinguish countries rather than individuals from each other. The country's scores on the dimensions are relative, in that we are all human and simultaneously we are all unique. In other words, culture can only be used meaningfully by comparison. Now that we know what are the dimensions of national culture, let's talk about Belgium. Belgium, officially the Kingdom of Belgium, is a country in Western Europe. It is bordered by the Netherlands to the north, Germany to the east, Luxembourg to the southeast, France to the southwest, and the North Sea to the northwest. It covers an area of 30,689 square kilometers and has a population of more than 11.4 million. The capital and largest city is Brussels. Dimensions. Power distance. This dimension deals with the fact that all individuals in societies are not equal. It expresses the attitude of the culture towards these inequalities among us. Power distance is defined as the extent to which the less powerful members of institutions and organizations within a country expect and accept that power is distributed unequally. With a score of 65, Belgium scores high on the scale of the PDI. It is therefore a society in which inequalities are accepted. Hierarchy is needed if not existential. The superiors may have privileges and are often inaccessible. The power is centralized in Belgium. It might in the near future not be centralized in Brussels anymore, but the Walloons and Flemish will each have their own point of centralized power from where administration, transports, business are managed. In management, the attitude towards managers is more formal and on family name basis. Individualism. The fundamental issue addressed by this dimension is the degree of the interdependence a society maintains among its members. It has to do with whether people's self image is defined in terms of I or we. In individualist societies, people are supposed to look after themselves and their direct family only. In collectivist societies, people belong to in groups that take care of them in exchange for loyalty. At 75, Belgium scores very high on the individualism index. This means that the Belgians favor individual and private opinions, taking care of themselves and family rather than belonging to a group. In the work environment, work relationships are contract based. The focus is on the task and autonomy is favored. The Belgian houses are contradiction. Although highly individualist, the Belgians need a hierarchy. This combination, high score on power distance and high score on individualism, creates a specific tension in this culture. which make the relationship so delicate but intense and fruitful once you manage it. Therefore, the manager is advised to establish a second level of communication, having a personal contact with everybody in the structure, allowing to give the impression that everybody is important in the organization, although unequal. Masculinity. A high score on the masculine dimension means that the society will be driven by competition and success. A low score on the feminine means that the dominant values in society are caring for others and quality of life. A feminine society is one where quality of life is the sign of success and standing out from the crowd is not admirable. The fundamental issue here is what motivates people wanting to be the best, masculine, or liking what you do, feminine. With 55 on average, Belgium has an intermediate score on this dimension. Balancing in the middle of this dimension, contradictions can be found. A confrontational win lose negotiating style will not be very effective in Belgium. This could mean that the decision process may be slower, as each point of view is considered so that consensus can be achieved. Belgians strive towards reaching a compromise. Winning a discussion is generally less important than achieving mutual agreement. Uncertainty avoidance. The dimension uncertainty avoidance has to do with the way that a society deals with the fact that the future can never be known. Should we try to control the future or just let it happen? This ambiguity brings with it anxiety, and different cultures have learned to deal with this anxiety in different ways. The extent to which the members of a culture feel treated by ambiguous or unknown situations and have created beliefs and institutions that try to avoid this is reflected in the score on uncertainty avoidance. At 94, Belgium has one of the highest scores on the UAI index. Their story of frequently being ruled by others partly explains this score. Certainly, is often reached through academic work and concepts that can respond for the need of detail, context, and background. Teachings and trainings are more deductive. In management structure, rules and security are welcome, and if lacking, it creates stress. Therefore, planning is favored. Some level of expertise welcome, when change policies, on the other hand, are considered stressful. Both communities, North and South, share this score on the dimension, which makes it very painful when negotiating a new set of rules called a constitution. Long-term orientation. This dimension describes how every society has to maintain some links with its own past while dealing with the challenges of the present and future. And societies prioritize these two existential goals differently. Normative societies, which score low on this dimension, for example, prefer to maintain time honored traditions and norms while viewing social change with suspicion. Those with a culture which scores high, on the other hand, take a more pragmatic approach. They encourage thrift and efforts in modern education as a way to prepare for the future. With a very high score of 82, Belgium scores a decidedly pragmatic culture. In societies with a pragmatic orientation, people believe that truth depends very much on situation, context, and time. They show an ability to adapt traditions easily to change conditions, a strong propensity to save and invest, thriftness, and perseverance in achieving results. Indulgence. One challenge that confronts humanity now and in the past is the degree to which small children are socialized. Without socialization, we do not become human. This dimension is defined as the extent to which people try to control their desires and impulses based on the way they were raised. Relatively weak control is called indulgence, and relatively strong control is called restraint. cultures can, therefore, be described as indulgent or restrained. Belgium scores 57 on this dimension, which marks it as indulgent. People in societies classified by a high score in indulgence generally exhibit a willingness to realize their impulses and desires with regard to enjoying life and having fun. They possess a positive attitude and have a tendency towards optimism. In addition, they place a higher degree of importance on leisure time, act as they please, and spend money as they wish. Interesting facts about Belgium that you didn't know about. So you're all settled in Belgium and have made some Belgian friends. Would you like to impress them on casual trivia night with facts from their own country, no less? Here's a list of curious Belgium related things you didn't know about. Number 1. Audrey Hepburn was born in Brussels. The epitome of elegance and one of the most iconic Hollywood stars of the last century, Hepburn captivated, and still does, many a cinephile. Just like her birthplace, Brussels' multilingual and multicultural identity, she was a polyglot fluent in at least 6 languages. Though she was active most in the US and held a British passport, her background was extremely pan European. So it is quite difficult to pinpoint in a few words what nationality or ethnicity she belonged to, really. Number 2. Belgium holds the world record for the longest period without a government. I'm sure this one will ring a bell if you follow the news. The world record for a democratic nation to be without an elected government is held by Belgium, which lasts for 589 days in 2010-11. Following national elections, the opposing Flemish and Walloon regions were unable to agree on policy issues and formed a governing coalition. To think Brussels governed Europe at the time without having a proper government in their own country. Number 3. Belgium produces more than 220,000 tons of chocolate per annum. Number 4. The Saventem Airport is the place where chocolate is being sold the most in the world. Related to the previous point, did you know that Brussels Airport has the highest number of chocolate sales in the world? On average, 1.6 kilograms of chocolate is being sold per minute. Impressive, isn't it? Number 5. Robert Kellogg, co-inventor of the World Wide Web, it's a Belgian. Most of us know that the World Wide Web was developed in Switzerland. What we don't normally know is by whom. It's actually by an English scientist called Tim Berners-Lee. But did you know that it wouldn't have been possible had he not received help from his Belgian college friend? Number 6. The Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels was written in Brussels. The famous German philosopher Karl Marx lived in Brussels in 1845-47, joined by his collaborator Engels. They drafted and published the Communist Manifesto almost entirely in Brussels. If you visit Brussels, you cannot miss the restaurant Le Cinq, located in the grand place where Marx wrote his famous work. Number 7. The French Belgians are prolific comic creators. You have surely heard of, read, or watched animated or film adaptations of the Smurf, Sparrow and Fanasio, Tintin, Asterix, Blake and Mortimer, Torgal, Gaston. The list is endless. Perhaps more than half of your childhood came from Belgium. Number 8. In the 70s, light beer was served during school lunch. We all know Belgians love their beer, so something like this shouldn't surprise us, right? In traditional Belgian culture, it was acceptable for everyone, including children, to drink a kind of light table beer as they drank their water and coffee. In fact, it was the norm until the 70s, but it was eventually replaced by water and soft drinks. In the 21st century, many organizations try to reinstate this custom, stating that it's healthier than many types of soft drinks, including juices, which cause diabetes, cancer, and all sorts of illness. Now that you have all of this information about this wonderful country, we hope you want to go to Belgium soon and explore and experience all of its culture.